Louisiana State University. Inside the Hornets Nest, Coaches Show.
Welcome to Inside the Hornets Nest Coaches Show bi-week edition as we get ready to venture into the Magic City Classic next weekend. Travis Stroman joined by senior outside linebacker Nicholas Terry. And Nick, the first question I'm going to ask you is kind of one I think most people are going to know. How did you end up from Youngstown, Ohio, up in northern Ohio in Montgomery, Alabama?
So originally out of high school, after my senior year, I had reclassed and went to a prep school in Virginia called Fork Union Military Academy. And mainly the reason was because I wasn't really getting a lot of scholarships. I was getting a lot of D2 and D3 looks. So I wanted to give myself another chance to put myself out there so that I can go to the dream schools that I wanted to go to, like the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Pitt. So that's why I reclassed and went down to Fork Union. And then Coach Ely ended up coming up and getting me.
You talk about being from Youngstown. You got a FCS power in Youngstown State in your backyard. Did that really drive you a little bit to try to get more offers, but to understand that it's more than just FBS, that there's FCS programs out there too?
Oh yeah, most definitely. So I had two uncles that played for Youngstown State, so I used to go up there all the time and watch the games. So I always wanted to play for Youngstown State too. So don't get that wrong either. But I always saw myself and I like to push myself to be better. Not saying anything is better or not, but I just wanted to see myself on the big stage. But I'm still on the big stage, so I'm glad that I made it here.
You talk about the big stage. You make it a big stage every Saturday. I mean, you make plays. Whether you hear your name called on the PA or not, you're making plays. You're forcing teams to go the other way. You're forcing teams to try to run up the middle to stay away from you. What does that say about you defensively, your work ethic, just for them to have to run the opposite side?
That I create a presence on the defensive line and the linebacking core. I just try to do my best to show them I'm here. I'm that guy. I can do this. Don't run towards me. I'm gonna make the play.
You've had chances. You've recovered fumbles. Does there ever that sense in the back of your mind, I want to scoop and score? There's something I just want to get into the end zone. Is that how quick does that come into your psyche when you see the ball on the ground?
It came into my psyche real quick. I saw the ball and I was like, oh, let's go get it. Because that whole week, it was kind of crazy too. So my coach kept on pressing us about ripping at the ball. We got to create chances to score. We got to create chances for our offense. Shoot, we got to score ourselves sometimes maybe. So the whole week, he just kept on pressing us about scooping and getting the ball. And that week, I ended up getting an interception in practice and forcing a fumble. So he was like, the stars just aligned for you this week to just run up and scoot the ball. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, let's go. Let's get to the end zone.
Is that something that your defensive coaches put in your mind? Because when you make plays at practice, you recover a fumble, you get an interception, you run to the end zone. And you basically don't stop till you get to the end zone. Right. Is that something the coaches are building in every week at practice?
Oh, yeah, every week. They've been telling us that's the whole foundation this year was getting at the ball. The main focus this year is the ball, and we want to get at the ball and get the ball and rip at the ball every chance that we get so we can create chances for our offense or even score on defense. It's better when we score on defense because, it's us that created that chance, but we want to be able to put our offense in great situations.
You play linebacker. You're on the outside in Coach Pearson's scheme, but those guys up front, they really engage the offensive line and frees you up in the entire linebacking core to make plays. Talk about that defensive front.
In my mind, I feel like we have one of the best defensive fronts in the SWAC. Those guys put in the hard work every week. Every single last one of them have a different tool that is just great for us. They all do their job. They all set that front, and they all get pressure in the backfield. So when they get pressure in the backfield, it's just making more than one person draw attention to them. So that's what opens up the gaps.
Defensive line. Now the guys behind you. There's not many teams that have an all-conference guy coming off the bench now because that's how deep your defensive backfield is. Just talk about the DBs.
Oh, our DBs, our DBs are really good too. We're stacked at the DB core this year, and all of them can start at any point in time, and all of them can go out there and do the same job. So that's great when you can have depth like that at that position.
We talked about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we talked about the plays you make on the field. There was a play in the spring at the goal line. It was against Jackson State, if I'm not mistaken, where you just laid your body out and you laid there after you made the play, but you kept the guy from getting in the end zone. Just the mentality of that, just putting your body on the line every play to be able to make a play.
It's just dedication. This is the game that I love. So, and I don't want to see them score, so I'm going to do everything I can to make sure they don't. I'm going to do it for my teammates. I'm going to lay my body on the line for my teammates.
55,000 people a couple days ago in Jackson, Mississippi. You're getting ready to go next week and play in front of 70,000. Just really go ahead and call it what it is, 200,000 people because of tailgating. How much is that the excitement that you feel every week now with HBCU football? I mean, the Classic Week is Classic Week.
Yeah, it's definitely excitement. I would love to see, our fans out there supporting us, and even other fans too, because it drives that excitement. I love hecklers. I love when opponent fans are in our ear, because it's driving me to go out there and do something more, so I can come back to the sideline and look at them, and then they're just sitting there quiet. So it's just, I love that type of atmosphere.
That's Nicholas Terry. Nick, we appreciate you taking time to be with us today. When we come back, we're going to have soft-spoken Andrew Ogletree, and I say that without trying to smile, because he's probably one of the guys that'll make you laugh the entire time. When we come back, we'll have Andrew Ogletree with us inside the Hornets Nest Coaches Show back after this timeout.
These days, we're making some pretty tough decisions, life-changing, life-altering decisions. But when it comes to your choice for higher education, it's simple. Choose Alabama State University. With more than 60 degree programs, from research to robotics, physical therapy to the performing arts, IT to CSI, we have the degree to fit your future.
I chose ASU. How about you?
Alabama State University, a proud tradition, the promise of a bright future.
My name is Jasmine Williams, and I'm the newest co-anchor here on Today in Alabama at WSFA 12 News. I am an Alabama girl. I grew up in Mobile. I'm happily married. I have 2 very small kids. I like the idea of waking up and being the first person, sometimes the first voice, the first smile people hear or see as they start their day. I like to be able to deliver the news and kind of give them the information they need as they head out the door.
A few years ago, I was faced with a big decision, graduating high school and getting ready for the next big step. I looked at several universities, but only one stood out, mine, Alabama State University.
With more than 60 degree programs, from research to robotics, from doctoral degrees to the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance, ASU has the degree to fit your future.
I chose ASU. How about you?
A proud tradition, the promise of a bright future.
Welcome back to Inside the Hornets Nest Coaches Show. Travis Stroman now joined by defensive lineman Andrew Ogletree. And Tree, we said coming out of the break or going into the break how you're soft-spoken. You're really not that soft-spoken. You got a nice, fun side to you, but just being from Columbus, Georgia, you got a bunch of guys from Columbus on this team. How much does that help to have guys from your city out here on the field with you?
I mean, having them guys with me down here in Montgomery makes me feel like at home almost. Even though Columbus not that far, but like, made me feel at home a lot.
When you talk about just the guys from Columbus, you got guys from Phoenix City too now. Who's got the bragging rights? Because, it's always said some guys that went to Columbus live in Phoenix City, some guys that is vice versa.
I mean, back at home it's like a little rivalry, but once we hit the road, we in different cities, we come as one. I'm my boy Jalen Carson, that's my boy there. Even though he went to Central High School, it's a big rival between Carver High School and Central though.
Who's got bragging rights? Between you and Carson, and then you, the twins, and even Long?
I mean, right now, Central probably got you bragging rights, but back in my home, Columbus, Twin will beat me my senior year, but I'm still 3-1 versus them, so I got it right. You
talk about things that the guys being here. You're on a defensive line that it just seems like is just unending talent, a wealth of talent. And I'm probably going to leave somebody out, and when I do, I hope they really don't get mad. But it's you, Christian Clark, Brandon Gaddy, Long, Ramp. I mean, the list just keeps going on and on and on. Just talk about the depth of that defensive line and just the rotation of the starters.
I mean, you got to come to practice, you got to compete every day. Like you said, is anybody can start, You got 3D linemen that start every Saturday. And the list could change in a day, like you said, dogs, like the room full of dogs, Brandon Gaddy, Christian Clark, Joshua Long, KJ Stowe, Cameron Rappenside, You got Randall Smith, Jalen Carson. He was, you know, people kind of mock how small he is, but my boy can ball. So yeah.
When you go and look at this defensive line, obviously you got Christian. Christian plugs everything up. But, you know, we just talked to Nick in the first segment. The defensive line engages that offensive line, and those linebackers are able to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
What is it on that line that just makes y'all just want to engage and make plays and help your linebackers?
I mean, you know, like you said, like our defense, like you created Coach Pearson, Coach Taylor, like they brought us in, you know, everybody, you got your personal goals, but at the same time, it's all about, you know, being brotherhood, want to win. But in order to win, you got to play as one. So, like, we know up front, and we could train a line of scrimmage, fit the quarterback, you know, take up these blocks, let, you know, linebackers like Jake Howard, Devontae Webster, even when Bubba was healthy, you know, come in and make plays, make us look good too. So I just feel like, you know, whenever we can take a block or whenever we can beat a double team and create a new line of scrimmage, that we're not even just like helping ourselves, we're better in the team.
You talk about personal goals. Before we get back into football, you got a personal goal, and it's to get into another number. We laughed and cut up in preseason camp. You came straight up to me and said, hey, this number 2 looks good on me.
Yeah.
Is that one of your goals, is to get into a single digit?
Yeah, number 2, that's my goal, man. I ain't gonna lie. I had it in high school, you know. I felt like I did my best in the number 2, but, you know, like Coach Ely said, you know, numbers doesn't make the player, but, you know, I look good in it too. I love it too. You
got your name on the back of the uniforms, but you got the ASU on front. You just said it, but say it for the fans at home. What's more important, the name on the back or the name on the front?
Really, you know, name on the back, man, but, you know, name on the front too, though. I can't say like 50-50, because at the end of the day, you know, you're playing for your name, you're playing for your mom, you know, your parents and stuff, but at the same time, I can say family, but, you know, when I came to ASU, Coach Ely, when I signed, he brought me in. He said, it's your family. I feel like family ever since I got here, so really 50-50 for me. I'm playing for both.
Soft-spoken is what we said when you first came on. The first play you made at Jackson State, it didn't matter if there was 50,000 people in there or 5,000 people in there. You let everybody know who made the play. Just when you make a play, what is it that you just, it's like everything just comes to the top?
I mean, really just the reaction. Like, you know, when I made that play, like, I had let them know I was in the building, you know. Everybody probably there to see Coach Prime and, you know, the new Jackson State team. But, you know, I just had to know that, you know, our D-line, I feel like Nick said before, I feel like we had the best D-line in the SWAC. Probably one of the best in the LCS. So I just had to let them know, like, yeah, D-line here this game. Yeah, it's not going to be easy.
I'm going to get a chance to ask Coach Ely. I meant to ask Nick this question. The hit from Hunter Hansen on Saturday on the kickoff. I mean, y'all were all, hey, you just can't, you were getting ready to go out, so you're already on the sideline getting ready to go out. It happens right there in front of the entire defense. Just talk about just that play, what it did just for everybody to see a guy that has paid his dues and got back on the field.
Yeah, like you said, Hunter, like, that hit, like, he put, like, the motivation, like, the momentum just went to a whole nother level. Like, that hit, we, as a defense, we seen it, we were like, okay, like, we even brought Hunter, like, you feel me, the kickers. Like, you know, people don't expect a hit like that from a kicker, but we knew Hunter, we knew he had it in him. Like, Hunter trains every day, works hard every day, come to practice on time. Might even be like one of the earliest people here just to get a couple kicks in. So, like, you know, people's fans, they ain't expect it, it surprised them, but us, we knew Hunter had it the whole time.
Well, Trey, we appreciate you spending time. We come back, we'll have head coach Donald Ely on Inside the Hornets Nest Coaches Show back after this break.
These days, we're making some pretty tough decisions, life-changing, life-altering decisions. But when it comes to your choice for higher education, it's simple. Choose Alabama State University. With more than 60 degree programs, from research to robotics, physical therapy to the performing arts, IT to CSI, we have the degree to fit your future.
I chose ASU. How about you?
Alabama State University, a proud tradition, the promise of a bright future.
A few years ago, I was faced with a big decision, graduating high school and getting ready for the next big step. I looked at several universities, but only one stood out, mine, Alabama State University.
With more than 60 degree programs, from research to robotics, from doctoral degrees to the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance, ASU has the degree to fit your future.
I chose ASU. How about you?
A proud tradition, the promise of a bright future.
Welcome back to Inside the Hornets Nest Coaches Show. Travis Stroman, head coach, Donna Hill, Ely, and Coach, this is the point of the show where we go back and relive some of the things that happened at Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium against Jackson State. And as you said in the postgame, we had opportunities. We had opportunities in the first half and in the second half. Just talk about that just a little bit.
Well, you know, I thought the guys, played, as I say, the tale of two halves. You know, first half, anytime you go on a person's homecoming, it's hard to play.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to play their best game. And but first half, we was going toe-to-toe with them, combating the things that they were trying to do offensively. And then on our offensive side, we was able to move the ball, get a score, and tie things up 7-7, which got a turnover, which I was hoping to get some points out of that before the half once we got the turnover on the special teams. But it didn't work out, but we still had momentum coming into the locker room. And then second half, we came out and kind of lost our composure in the storm of everything that was going on. And they was able to get 2 scores up on us, and we just never recovered from that. We had a couple of situations where, I felt that if we got one play, and if we got that one play to get a score, it would change and swing the momentum back, but we couldn't get that play.
Talk about that a little bit, the first half. First half, they go down and score first drive. Your defense settles in. You come down and score. Just being able to settle in early with that homecoming crowd was big because it could have really taken you out of the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 56,000 people, and as regular homecoming, you got the hecklers and everybody that's involved. But more importantly, the guys were, they found their composure. They found their niche. Everybody was working off of the game plan. We wanted to minimize the opportunities they had with the football and run the football, which we was able to run early on. But again, collectively, the whole plan didn't work.
When you look at the defensive side of the football, you did some things against them that other teams haven't been able to do. You got to Shooter Sanders. You sacked him 3 times. You had a few knockdowns. Just for that side of the football to be able to prove that what they do every day, they come out.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it comes time to play defense, we'll put our defense up against anybody we play. Those guys play hard. They play together. They find ways to execute. And for us to be able to get to them is, the 3 times that was recorded as sacks, but it was about 4 other times that he was able to step out and get out of the sack, which we should have had him. And I think those are the ones that we kind of wish that we had back with us.
You talk about momentum. Let's talk about that play. You score, extra point. Hunter kicks the ball off, breaks the returner breaks free, and all of a sudden your sideline, your band, your fan section goes nuts because Hunter makes a play and forces a fumble. Just that play and just being able to carry it.
You know what? It's so much more than just that play. Hunter was our starting kicker last year and kind of went into a rut. So this was his first game back, starting doing the kicking duties. And for a guy to never give up, to be able to get his job back, to be able to kick the ball exactly where we wanted, to come down and insert himself and create a turnover, we're just happy for that young man that he found success in the storm, and he was able to get through all the adverse moments that he was going to, and that's what the guys were celebrating on the sideline. That for the early part of the season, he's just been trying to find his way, and Saturday he found his way to help his team.
Touchdown drive in the first half. Second quarter, you're down 7-0. Miles finds Jeremiah. Just walk us through that a little bit, just that entire drive.
Well, you know what? We had some familiarity with the coaches. We had gotten rid of Coach Blackwell, and Coach Flea left to go with them last year. And as we were going, whether they knew our plays or not, it was close enough. So we signaled in a running play to try to see if they had our beat on our signals. And we signaled in a running play, but we had called a pass play from the sideline. So while they was running all up, we was running behind them, and that's when we was like, okay, they got an idea of what we got going on, and we was able to get behind them, kind of threw them off a little bit more, but then you got to have a way to communicate, and,
Right.
and signaling was the one, and they just got to jump on us.
You talk about getting behind them on that play. You got behind them a few times on Saturday. Karan Jones got behind him a couple of times and made a catch. Got turned around, lost his balance. If he doesn't lose his balance, he scores easily. But you were able to get behind him.
Yeah, well, we know it with Jeremiah and Corker and Karan, we got some of the faster guys that's in the conference. And if we can, hold up as if we, did on those particular plays, we now just have to connect.
When you go back and look, the one thing you're going to bring back from that game?
Finding a way to win. We gotta, we took on a good team with a lot of talent. We just got to find a way to win.
Coach, we appreciate it. We come back, we're going to look into the bye week, get you set for the bye week, get you set for Magic City Classic week. Tickets are on sale right now in our box office, 334-229-4551, or visit MagicCityClassic.com for all your ticket information. We'll be back after this timeout.
A few years ago, I was faced with a big decision, graduating high school and getting ready for the next big step. I looked at several universities, but only one stood out, mine. Alabama State University.
With more than 60 degree programs, from research to robotics, from doctoral degrees to the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance, ASU has the degree to fit your future.
I chose ASU. How about you?
A proud tradition, the promise of a bright future.
COVID cases continue to devastate our community, and we know you're concerned about your families. We share your concern. Our families are at risk too.
WSFA 12 News will continue to provide the latest COVID news every day in our newscasts, on our website, and on the WSFA 12 News app.
During these unprecedented times, let's all work together to help get this virus under control.
These days, we're making some pretty tough decisions, life-changing, life-altering decisions. But when it comes to your choice for higher education, it's simple. Choose Alabama State University. With more than 60 degree programs, from research to robotics, physical therapy to the performing arts, IT to CSI, we have the degree to fit your future.
I chose ASU. How about you?
Alabama State University, a proud tradition, the promise of a bright future.
Welcome back to Inside the Hornets Nest Coaches Show. Travis Stroman, head coach, Donna Hill, alien coach. Last segment before we get ready to finish off and get ready for the Magic City Classic. Just the bye week. What does the bye week entail? You've gone through a whole week. What does it entail just to get ready for something after you come off the Jackson State game and get ready for the Classic?
Well, mainly just as a football standpoint, recovery. Guys, we play a contact sport, so guys are a little banged up, little ankles, shoulders, and fingers, and we get a little extra time to get that well. The psyche, just being able to get away and lay in your bed one or two of those days and not have to, come to practice and meetings, and then catching up on the classwork, all those things. There's a big demand on these student athletes. So this gives us a chance to get them to get everything back in order. And then towards the middle of the week, we'll start practicing and getting things going again, and then we'll give them another break before it's time to transition to game week.
We've had two of your defensive stalwarts on with us today, Nick Terry and Andrew Ogletree. What do those two guys mean to you on defense?
You know what? Some of the best people I've been around. I've seen these guys come in as freshmen. Nick, I went down to Fort Union and got him myself. And Ogletree, when he came in, Coach Osita at the time was able to bring him in. But these guys are stakeholders in the program. So when they take the field, they take the field as stakeholders. I don't have to worry about somebody shouting their name because they not giving effort or doing their job. And just to have those guys around in the program, those are the guys that we want to showcase and model, that we need more guys like that.
When you go back and look at a Nick Terry, his stats really aren't when you look at a linebacker, but he does a lot of other things. He's a leader on the field. He chases guys down. We talked about him 4 weeks ago about how he made that play on the goal line a couple of years ago or last year. Just the importance of just not giving up. I mean, he plays hurt. He just keeps going every play.
And that's what you want. I mean, when you get guys to that point, getting to their senior year, where they're able to do their job. You don't really hear his name a lot because they're normally running away from him. And that says a lot when the ball does come towards him. He does his job. He's going to be where he needs to be. you can count on them. You can depend on them. So, those kind of guys, when they leave the game of football, or either if they move on, I never have to worry about that phone call that he didn't show up to work or he didn't do his job. He's going to do his job.
You talk about Tree a little bit. He's a non-emotional guy a lot on the field, but against Jackson State, he made a couple big plays early and the emotion came out. Just him.
Tree the guy. He gonna set the tone. He gets it going. You can hear him out there when he gets to coming off the football. So he gets us going, and again, another program guy got in, put his weight on, got his strength up, and he sets the tone at whether he's playing the 4 or the 5. And we can depend on him that he's going to do his job.
And these are guys, when you think about football players and you think about a linebacker and you think about defensive linemen, you think about them just being gritty and in the trenches all the time. Tree's got a little bit of a sense of humor about him, but the one with Tree is comes up in preseason camp and he goes, "I look good in this number 2 jersey, don't I? You go ahead and change me to number 2." Any thought process of moving him to a single digit yet?
No, I don't even choose the numbers. They know how that stuff is done. It's all about them and our equipment guy Dante, and then what they're doing, and if the number comes available and how that works. So, and as I tell them all, it's not about the number. It's about that player that's under it. And those are 2 great players, regardless what number they're going to wear.
When you get ready, when you come back after this weekend and you get ready to say, "Hey, it's Classic Week," anything you need to say, or the guys already know?
Oh, they already know. They knew that when it was put on the schedule. So I hadn't been the last one looking with this, taste on my mouth for the last 6 months from what happened to us the last time up there. They know what time it is. It's time to go up there and play some football.
For you, it starts a little early. It starts with your swag call on Monday. Then you get to go and have a little fun on Wednesday at the press conference, and then your team luncheon on Friday, and then that's when things start settling in. Just that week in general, leading up to Wednesday's a little bit of a fun time that you can go have up at the press conference, but you're still going up there for business.
Yeah, Wednesday is definitely going to be a tough Wednesday, unlike the ones I had in the past, because my role has changed here, with adding myself doing a little bit more coaching. So I'm going to be hustling trying to get back. So you probably won't see a lot of playing. It's going to be in and out. But the whole key is a part of everything that goes into leading up to the Classic, and we all got a responsibility to make sure that it's attended well and that people are getting what they pay for.
Going back to a little bit of normalcy. In the spring, you did your press conference, went straight to the hotel, got the team there shortly after, went through everything, got to the stadium. This year, you still get 2 more days after the press conference before things really get cranking up. Does that help you a little more to be able to plan?
Definitely. It helps us to really get the team ready, helps us do our preparation, and then more importantly, it resets everything, getting us ready for Saturday.
Coach, we appreciate it. We'll get ready to talk to you again next week as we get ready for the Classic. Tickets are on sale for the Magic City Classic at 334-229-4551. Stop by the Alabama State University ticket office. Visit MagicCityClassic.com. Those of you in the Birmingham area, there are plenty of outlets. Check out the city of Birmingham. Again, MagicCityClassic.com, or call 334-229-4551. Classic Week's right around the corner. For head coach John O'Hill-Ely, for Nicholas Terry, for Andrew Ogletree, this is Travis Stroman saying thank you for watching Inside the Hornets Nest Coaches Show.
Go Hornets!
A few years ago, I was faced with a big decision, graduating high school and getting ready for the next big step. I looked at several universities, but only one stood out, mine, Alabama State University.
With more than 60 degree programs, from research to robotics, from doctoral degrees to the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance, ASU has the degree to fit your future.
I chose ASU. How about you?
A proud tradition, the promise of a bright future.
Before severe weather hits the river region, I hit the streets, bypasses, bridges, and back roads, checking wind speeds on the outside so you can stay safe on the inside. It's not an easy job, but it's one that I was built for. I am First Alert Storm Tracker, the 5th member of the First Alert Weather Team, and I ride for you. First Alert Storm Tracker 12, powered by the Vance Law Firm.
These days, we're making some pretty tough decisions, life-changing, life-altering decisions. But when it comes to your choice for higher education, it's simple. Choose Alabama State University. With more than 60 degree programs, from research to robotics, physical therapy to the performing arts, IT to CSI, we have the degree to fit your future.
I chose ASU. How about you?
Alabama State University, a proud tradition, the promise of a bright future.